Southwest Louisiana. This is 7 News Nightcast.
Good evening, I'm Erica Bivens. A 45-year-old was the victim of an attempted robbery Thursday morning in the 1200 block of Broad Street. Lake Charles police say the suspect, a 14-year-old male, attempted to rob the victim of his wallet. However, the victim refused and was shot in the face. The victim was transported to a local hospital and is expected to survive his injuries. The juvenile was arrested and is in the Calcasieu Parish Juvenile Detention Center for attempted first-degree murder. Well, we're learning more tonight about a shooting that claimed the lives of 2 Southern University students 1 week ago. Scotty Hunter with our sister station at WAFB spent the day with an eyewitness who tells us his party had nothing to do with that tragedy.
It's been a week since a shooting claimed the lives of Southern students LaShante Benton and Annette January. But for fellow JAG Marquise Watkins, the nightmare of what happened is far from over.
I've seen dead people before, but I've never seen 2 girls, especially 2 girls I know, dead, like shutting it down. That's a whole other thing. I haven't even slept good since that happened at all.
Watkins tells us his birthday party was over around 1:30 Sunday morning when a group of students who were not invited to the gathering showed up bragging about how they had jumped someone over what he believes was a gambling debt.
Not even 5 minutes later, at least 3 minutes later, a car pulled up and said, when we come back around, y'all better duck. Next thing you know, they came back around, they started shooting.
Watkins describes a chaotic scene, shots flying everywhere and partygoers scrambling for their lives.
You see gunshots coming out the sunroof and out the side of the window towards where everyone was at, drove off. Another shots came. I was like another 2 or 3 rounds of shots that came after that, and it was over.
Baton Rouge police believe 22-year-old Ernest Felton returned fire. Felton is behind bars, charged with attempted second-degree murder for injuring a 3rd victim. In the mayhem, though, it remains unclear which shots fatally hit the young women. Watkins admits he's not sure who shot back at the attackers, but he credits whoever it was with saving lives.
I feel like if he wasn't out there, or whoever that was shooting back wasn't out there, there would have been more people dead that night, besides just 2 people.
And while it won't bring back his friends, Watkins hopes the investigation turns up more answers soon.
Put the right person in jail behind this. Don't just close the case because you got one person you feel like he's going to fit the crime scene. Do your job and get the right person. Do what you got to do to get the right person. That's all we want.
Now, authorities say the ballistic report, which should identify whose shots killed the 2 students, could come as early as this week. LaShante Benton from Lake Charles was laid to rest yesterday. A resolution by the Southern University president to award Benton her degree will be approved April 22nd by the school's board. Well, tomorrow, April 18th, is the deadline to file those federal taxes. That's because taxpayers were given an extension to file and pay. KPLC's Liz Coe explains.
April 15th is typically the day all federal taxes are due, but thanks to a legal holiday in Washington, D.C., taxpayers were given an extra 3 days to file and pay. Despite the extended deadline, last-minute filers are trying to race against the clock.
Just today, we've probably done a little over 50 returns.
Jackson Hewitt District Manager Johnny Owens says the peak of tax season are the first and last weeks.
What we find is that actually our busiest time is the last week of January, first week of February, as all the W-2s are hitting. Those people are typically getting a rather large refund, so of course they want to come in quickly and file quickly.
He says those who wait till the last minute usually fall into this category.
We find the people that typically procrastinate are those that are getting a very small refund or actually end up owing the IRS. So they want to wait that extra time before they actually file.
Most taxpayers want to hold on to their hard-earned money as long as they can, but it's possible to file early and keep your money until you need to fork it over.
What they don't realize is that they can actually file back in February and still not send their payment until April 18th for this year, for instance.
Owens shares this advice for those who are waiting till the absolute last minute to file and pay taxes.
The offices get busy. All the offices in this area will be busy tomorrow. So it means you may end up sitting in that office for a little while, So get in quick. Get in early tomorrow, definitely.
The deadline to file and pay all federal taxes is tomorrow, April 18th at midnight. At your service, Liz Coe, KPLC 7 News.
And another reminder, state flood victims who qualify for the tax filing extension have until July 15th to file and pay taxes for both federal and state individual income tax returns. Now, in order to qualify, taxpayers must live in one of the 36 parishes declared disaster areas by the federal government. Well, turning now to weather, Zach, still pretty warm outside.
It's more like a summer night outside, and it's going to continue to be that way really over the next few nights. That's not going to change. The warm air is here. That's here to stay. But the question over the next few days is, will it rain? Because the past few days, it seems like it wants to rain, but it really hasn't. Storm Vision HD, we have had a few showers. Yesterday we had a few showers. Today we had a few showers, even a little storm near the coast. But notice early this evening, you might have seen more of those little sprinkles, but it's not much, and all that green showing up in and around Lake Charles, that is the pollen that's being thrown around the atmosphere right now with all that wind. Storm Vision HD, though, down I-10 in Houston, it is storming, and they're going to be worried about flooding issues come first thing tomorrow morning, and really all day tomorrow, all day Tuesday. The flood threat across Texas is higher, but the question is how far east does it actually ever make it to us? And I'll kind of answer that in just a few minutes. But look out of our Westlake Skycam, the wind is blowing. It's going to blow all the way through your Monday. On your next 12 hours, our temperatures are not moving tonight, so get used to, say, right around 70 degrees, very soupy air mass. But like I said, the big question is, will that rain make it to us tomorrow? I'll have the answers in my first look forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Zach. Well, Lake Charles firefighters, along with Local 561, teamed up with the American Red Cross this weekend, all for a good cause. KPLC's Candy Rodriguez has more on their efforts.
The Lake Charles Fire Department spent their weekend collecting donations from community members, but they say this was more than just a simple donation. This is an insurance policy you can't buy.
Thank y'all. God bless y'all. It's only right that we reach out to them and help them out.
District Fire Chief Chris Carroll says donating to Red Cross has a greater impact than individuals might think.
Really, when you think about it, it's kind of like an insurance policy, because you could give us $3, $4, $5 and you could go home and life could be good. But tonight or tomorrow, your house could catch on fire. And if it happens, then Red Cross is going to come. They're going to provide you with clothing. They're going to provide you with a place to stay and some food until you can make your life whole again.
An effort by these organizations to be prepared for any disaster.
Really shores up what we're doing, and they see their dollars in action.
A former firefighter for LCFD and now Red Cross's disaster program specialist for Southwest Louisiana, Craig Ryan says the lake area community has truly shown support.
I think it's good because I was a victim of flooding in the past, so I would think that we need to donate so that we can help our fellow people in need.
Last year, a total of $18,000 was raised. This year, they hope to surpass that amount.
It gives them a part in it, too, that they can actually see. Their dollars coming directly to us and being affected by what we do.
Thank you, sir.
If you missed out this weekend and were not able to donate, no worries. You can visit this story on our website or on your 7 News mobile app for more information on how you can give back. At your service in Lake Charles, Candy Rodriguez, KPLC 7 News.
And donations are still being counted. Once we know the exact amount of money raised, we'll of course post it for you in this story at kplctv.com. Still to come, we're days away from New York's delegate-rich primary, how the candidates spent their weekend, right after this.
Take the short ride today to Delta Downs.
So, where are you guys?
Using the built-in Wi-Fi in Tina's new Buick.
Wow, that doesn't look like a Buick.
Okay, who wants smoothies?
Is that passion fruit Jeremy?
Yes, with beef on.
I'll take a passion fruit. Anybody else?
Now get $2,500 total allowance on select Enclave vehicles in stock. Plus, non-GM owners get an additional $1,000 allowance.
For the past 9 years, Home Furniture has been selected one of the top 100 furniture stores in the country.
People like personal service, and that's what Home Furniture does.
I usually always shop here because, number one, they've got the best selection, and also their service is always tremendous.
Personal service, if we say we're going to do it, we do it.
Visit any one of our locations and experience the best quality, the best prices, and the best service in the country. Welcome home. Home Furniture, plus bedding. Get 15% cash back off MSRP on a great selection of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs during Chevy Bonus Tag Days at your Lake Charles area Chevy dealers. You can also save $9,000 on new Chevy Silverados. That's $9,000 in savings. And with no money down and no first payment, pay just $199 a month on new Chevy Malibus and $179 a month on new Chevy Cruises. Plus 0% financing can save you even more at your Lake Charles area Chevy dealers.
Now with Delta Downs, join the Be Connected Club for a chance to win $1.5 million. Just visit deltadowns.com for your free spin coupon. Then come in, take a spin, and you could win. Only at Delta Downs.
The presidential candidates are crisscrossing New York ahead of Tuesday's delegate-rich primary. Donald Trump still complaining about a rigged delegate system that could cost him the GOP nomination. On the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders supporters are protesting against huge amounts of money after George Clooney helped raise for Hillary Clinton this weekend. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has our story.
Donald Trump in Staten Island ahead of Tuesday's New York primary.
Because we love Staten Island and we love New York.
Trump hopes to win enough delegates to seal the nomination, but worries if he doesn't, a secret ballot could nominate Ted Cruz.
We have to win by big numbers because we have a system that's absolutely rigged. It's rigged.
Trump girl, got the Trump girl here.
GOP voters are siding with Trump. In a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll, 62% of Republican voters believe if no candidate wins a majority of delegates before the convention, the one with the most votes should be the nominee. The Cruz campaign says if Trump can't get the needed delegates, then it's anyone's game.
You know, football teams don't get to get in the red zone and then demand a touchdown and then cry about it when you don't give them one. But that's what we're dealing with the Trump campaign.
Vote for me on Tuesday.
Hillary Clinton, New York's former senator, is hoping for a big win. Saturday night, Bernie Sanders supporters threw dollar bills at Clinton's motorcade on its way to a fundraiser hosted by George Clooney. The top ticket cost over $350,000.
They're right to protest. They're absolutely right. It is an obscene amount of money.
More fuel for Sanders, who rallied with voters in Brooklyn Sunday, that Clinton is too tied into big money interests. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Now, Clinton and Trump are expected to win New York, but Ted Cruz did pick up a few more delegates after taking Wyoming's Republican primary this weekend. Attention, fast foodies. McDonald's is about to test a new business model in Missouri. All-you-can-eat fries. Customers will be able to place their order at a kiosk that's supposed to speed up service. Now, orders will be brought to a customer's table. The new kiosk system means this McDonald's won't need as many cashiers. But the franchise owner said he plans to hire 85 people at the new location. As for the Fry for All, the Wall Street Journal reported last week McDonald's has removed healthier wraps from its menus. The paper added, quote, "No one is going to McDonald's to diet." And according to BuzzFeed News, Ticketmaster will begin selling tickets to a select group of events on Facebook in the coming weeks. It says Facebook will collect a standard affiliate fee from Ticketmaster for each ticket sold through the social network. In a separate report, BuzzFeed News says Eventbrite will soon sell tickets directly through Facebook as well through a pilot program. Up ahead, see how a woman's gift of life ends up saving her own life. The story next in HealthCast.
Now extended, Ford Truck Month.
Let me hear you say truck, yeah, let's crank it on up, yeah.
Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck, and with over 25 million sold in the past 39 years, no wonder it's the #1 choice in the hardest-working industries out there. Ford Truck Month, now extended. Hurry, get 0% for 60 months plus $1,800 in bonus cash on F-150.
These creamery shakes are so rich and creamy.
I know. Finally a shake for an aficionado like myself.
Wait, you're a shake aficionado?
Not a shake aficionado. The shake aficionado.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, perhaps you could be one too. Go ahead.
There's a coolness. It's cold.
Okay, ice cream is cold. Stop the presses, guys. Ice cream is cold. Says Pete. Print it.
New slow-turned creamery shakes are here in premium flavors like bourbon brown sugar. And all shakes are half price after 8 p.m. This is how you Sonic.
If you or a loved one have developed cancer after using any talcum powder products for feminine hygiene, contact us now. Thousands of women will be diagnosed with ovarian cancer this year. If you have used any talcum powder products and have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, call us right now at Delphin Law Offices. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. Call 337-439-3939. That's 337-439-3939.
Prestige, performance, luxury, value is everything you can expect in a new Billy Navarre Cadillac. At Billy Navarre Cadillac, the Cadillac of Cadillac dealers.
A woman gives the gift of life. In turn, it ends up saving her own life. Now she's using her own story to inspire others. Amanda Gilbert has our story.
This story starts with a woman who loved her job. Judy Rottinghouse was the only Waterloo female firefighter for 16 years. Her job was one of the reasons she decided to donate a kidney.
We do see how life changes in an instant here.
She donated back in 2010 to a stranger.
Each year on my kidneyversary, June 15th, I call the hospital and I say, how's he doing?
But the story doesn't end there. An incision from the kidney donation caused a hernia.
I had abdominal pain and they took pictures.
But one doctor noticed something else.
And said, well, there's a spot on your pancreas that wasn't there when you donated your kidney.
That spot was a tumor on her pancreas.
Very rare growth that is precancerous. Mine was. They caught it in time. My fear was that it would stop my life at that age, and I wasn't ready to.
A crazy story.
But what it comes down to is, if I hadn't donated the kidney, which then formed the incisional hernia, which they had to take pictures of, which found the tumor, I'd be dead.
But that's not the end. Judy's story inspired her to speak to others, encouraging them to become organ donors.
If you know people who have been waiting forever, and they will die just because they don't have the one organ they need.
A woman who was saved after living a life of saving others.
Now, pancreatic cancer has a less than 10% survival rate. That's because it really does sneak up on people. It's hard to detect, usually until it's too late. Just 8 months before Judy's tumor was removed, her mom died of a similar cancer. Well, Zach, it just goes to show you how things can change in a second, kind of like the weather we're seeing.
That's exactly like the weather. You know, things really, they haven't been changing over the course of this weekend. Let me show you the time lapse of today because it was much like Saturday. A lot of clouds, a lot of wind, and very little rain. A few sprinkles out there, but the question is for Monday, are we going to bring the rain into the picture? And I'll answer that coming up in my first alert forecast after the break.
Explore thesouthernweekend.com, your new home for weekend inspiration. It's all about food, travel, the outdoors, and the Southern lifestyle.
That we're going to get a sitter for the kids and come back.
Did you know the most important insurance coverage you can buy to protect your family is uninsured motorist coverage on your own policy? If you've been injured in an accident, call us for a free consultation or visit us at coxcoxphilo.com.
If your company builds, roofs, hauls, or is in the oil field business, you need AmeriSafe, workers' comp for working people.
With a warranty 5 years longer and 40,000 miles better than Toyota and Nissan, it's no wonder more folks are making the switch to Hyundai and Billy Navarre Hyundai. And with top safety picks like the Billy Navarre Hyundai Tucson and Billy Navarre Hyundai Sonata and the all-new Billy Navarre Hyundai Elantra, in addition to the Billy Navarre Hyundai Genesis and Billy Navarre Hyundai Equus, Billy Navarre Hyundai has a new Hyundai for most every budget and lifestyle. For price, selection, and award-winning service, shop Billy Navarre Hyundai in Lake Charles.
It's time to take a road trip.
Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame.
Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Or the iconic Muscle Shoals Sound Studios. And if you hang around for some golf and a bite to eat, you might just run across the next big star. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
The 7-Storm Team Skycam Network is sponsored by Billy Navarre. With quick service and low prices, we challenge any dealer in America to beat. The 7-Storm Team Personal Forecast is sponsored by Highway Ford on 171 in DeRidder, Home Furniture, Lakeside Bank, and Home Building Materials. From the 7-Storm Team, your first alert weather with meteorologist Zach Fradella.
Well, Saturday it was cloudy and we really didn't see much rain. Sunday it was cloudy, windy, and we really didn't see much rain. So you see the trend here. The weather's repeating itself, and there's a reason why. We're in a blocking pattern, and it's actually called an omega block. You want to know why it's an omega block? Do you see the actual omega sign being developed here? There's an upper low over the western United States, and then we get a ridge, and then look what happens off the east coast. That is what we call an omega block. It sort of develops the omega sign right in the middle of the country, and nice weather underneath the high pressure, stormy weather when you get near the upper low. Let me show you the upper low, because where's it going? It's not going anywhere. It is just sitting over the four corners. You see it spinning about, and you see the stream of moisture, the plume of moisture riding right up over Texas. This is the same setup, except the upper low was farther south, that we had in March when we dealt with the flooding. But this upper low is not close enough to us just yet to actually bring us any stormy weather. Here's the atmospheric trouble, and basically this is just looking at the upper levels and using a model to predict out what's going to happen. Well, there's the upper low, and let me put this all the way through the middle of the week. Where does the upper low go? Really nowhere. It's basically slowly meanders to the north and east, and it starts to weaken. You can start to see how it falls apart within the model run. So that's good news, but it's also bad news because it really doesn't move much over the next, say, 48 to 72 hours. It's good news that the rain's not to us yet, but could it actually make it to us? That's the big question. Storm Vision HD, there is no rain out there tonight, but we have a lot of clouds. We still have a lot of wind. And we can still get little showers. At any point, you can have a few sprinkles on your windshield. But look at the heavy rain. You go right down I-10. And Houston, it's fairly dry in Houston. But once you go on the west side of town, in the western suburbs, there's a lot of heavy rainfall. And you see where it's moving? Basically nowhere. It's sliding to the north, a sign that it's all just getting pulled into that upper low that's over, say, the Colorado Rockies. Let's put it in motion with a different model. This is actually going to show us our radar depiction as we go through the overnight hours in the next few days. There's the upper level low, and then here's the rain overnight tonight. Not much happened. You see, there's almost a barrier between the state line, Louisiana side, cloudy and windy overnight, while there's rain on the Texas side. And there's a lot of heavy rain down along the coast, right near Galveston and Point South. As I put this into motion for your Monday, where does the rain go? Nowhere. It just sits right on top of southeast Texas. Again, southwest Louisiana looks fairly dry for much of Monday, but I think Monday night into Tuesday is our questionable time because I think we're going to get a storm complex that tries to make it to us, and then it slowly just falls apart as it crosses the state line as we go into Monday night and a Tuesday, and then we are going to continue the rain chances all the way through Wednesday and eventually Thursday. That's when we're actually going to get a front through here that's going to push all of this mess out of here. Here's the projected rainfall totals, and I want to show you how difficult this forecast is. The state line is right here, okay? Lake Charles is right here. Look how heavy the rain is across southeast Texas. Maybe some spots 6+ inches. Once you get into southwest Louisiana, there's very little rain at all. So it's tough to determine where those little lines of rain will actually move east and where they're going to park themselves. But it's something we'll watch over the next few days. 72 out there tonight. We're not going to go much lower than that. It's going to feel like summertime all day long. 15 miles per hour wind. Wind's going to stay up. The dew points are up. The wind's actually a good thing at this time of year. When we get the wind, we're not going to deal with fog when we have that moisture, and that's certainly the case. We have a very soupy air mass across the board, and there's your Monday and Tuesday forecast. Again, most of Monday I think is going to be dry, much like the weekend, cloudy and windy, but I think Monday night and Tuesday is our best chance of seeing one of those storm complexes scoot in. And again, anytime we get one of those little rounds of rain, we could see some heavy rainfall, and then Wednesday we get a break. Thursday's the cold front, and that's going to finally, bring it into our rain chances. But it'll bring one last spurt of rain Thursday. But after that cold front, it's really not a cold front because 80s, but sunshine next weekend.
Sounding good. I think tomorrow, though, might be a ponytail day.
Yeah, definitely so.
Well, in sports, McNeese closing out spring drills.
Yeah, it was a nice turnaround for the game on Saturday. And coming up in sports, we're talking McNeese and the quarterback situation moving forward. We'll hear from Coach Guidry and get his thoughts on the quarterback battle, plus LSU football and McNeese baseball, who picked up a series win at Lamar. It's all coming up next in sports.
The Weather Watcher Network is sponsored by Mark Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Now extended Ford Truck Month.
Let me hear you say truck, yeah, let's crank it on up.
Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck. And with over 25 million sold in the past 39 years, no wonder it's the #1 choice in the hardest-working industries out there. Ford Truck Month, now extended. Hurry, get 0% for 60 months plus $1,800 in bonus cash on F-150.
Many years ago, our community had the foresight to build the Calcasieu Ship Channel to bring economic energy to Southwest Louisiana. Now it's America's energy corridor, supplying some 7% of the nation's energy products and energizing 40% of our local economy. But the channel requires constant maintenance and dredging so the ship's energy and dollars can keep flowing. Let's remember the importance of this vital resource, the Calcasieu Ship Channel, America's energy corridor, and make sure it always stays dredged and open for business.
If the sounds of wedding bells are ringing in your future, let KPLCTV.com and the Diamond team at Diamond Durrells help you find that perfect ring she'll cherish forever. Just go to the Lifestyles page at KPLCTV.com, click on Weddings, and follow it to the Diamond team link.
Our Diamond team knows that when you choose to give someone a diamond, you're making a promise that will last a lifetime. Forever Mark and the Diamond team makes a promise to you. You'll love your experience at Diamond Durrells.
KPLCTV.com and the Diamond Durrells Diamond Team, your engagement ring specialist.
It's time to upgrade your truck during Bolton Ford's Upgrade Program. You can drive more truck and lower your monthly payment.
With a red carpet lease, you can drive a lot more truck for a lot less money. Like this 2016 F-150 Super Crew, only $298 per month. Or buy today for 30% off MSRP.
Shop our website for low internet prices. Upgrade your car, truck, or SUV today with the #1 selling Ford dealer in Louisiana. All Fords are created equal. At Bolton Ford, our people make the difference.
Need to know the latest news in Southwest Louisiana? 7 News has an app for that. On air, online, and on your mobile device. Get 7 News now. Sponsored by L'Auberge Casino Resort. Wherever you are, we are. Download the 7 Storm Team weather app today. Where local sports come first. 7 Sports with Mike Gaither.
We begin tonight with the Pokes, who wrapped up spring drills Saturday under new head coach Lance Guidry. McNeese, they ran close to 100 plays in yesterday's blue and gold scrimmage, and many questions this spring about how the quarterback situation would play out for McNeese. On Saturday, we got a sneak peek of both Grant Ashcraft, who was presumed the starting quarterback, but it was the backup quarterback Joe Lassard who made a statement, throwing 17 of 28 for 179 yards plus a touchdown. Grant Ashcraft's day, well, he struggled to find time in the pocket. The offensive line really struggled to contain the D-line push, and it wreaked havoc all afternoon. The Gold team sacked Ashcraft 5 times on the afternoon. On a brighter side, the Pokes did get a glimpse of what a healthy Kent Shelby could mean for this upcoming season. Ashcraft connected with him on a 56-yard catch and run that was called back on a holding penalty. Both guys still with plenty to work on at the close of spring drills, but don't sleep on Lassard, who's slowly creeping into the picture with his amount of increased reps.
It's hard to tell in the spring game, but I do think that Joe has not taken the back seat at all. Of course, it's Grant's job to lose, and I think Lassard's making a case for himself, and that's what we want, And if Ashcraft can't hold him off, then Lassard will be the starter. So it's his to lose. That's the way we're going to go with it right now. But a lot to be said over the summer, and especially 2 days, exactly how this thing's going to turn out. But as of right now, I have no problem with either one of them. Joe practicing the way he is and picking up the offense. Ashcraft's going to have to move forward a little bit faster than he is, or he's going to get passed up by Lassard.
And yesterday, LSU football put the finishing touches on their spring drills as well. The Heisman hopeful Leonard Fournette, expected to be a main contender for the award in 2016, rushed for 49 yards on 8 carries in Saturday's spring game. Brandon Harris had a quiet day, completing 11 of 16 passes for 106 yards, but it was backup Danny Etling. He got a chance to show off his arm strength, connecting with D. Anderson on a 70-yard bomb there. At the end, Les Miles wrapped up spring in only a way Les Miles could.
I liked us. I liked our spring practice as a whole, and even though the game is not a game, and we got functional work, ones versus ones to start, and that that'll be some film that we've not had in several years here, and I look forward to seeing how our first teams played against each other.
All right, some college baseball now. Out to Vincent Beck Stadium we go for Sunday's rubber match. The Pokes leading 1-0. Bottom 2, Ethan Strimmel gets Lamar to bounce into a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. And then top 3, Connor Crane. He's on second with 2 outs, but Lewis Gilba, oh no, goes fishing for that curveball there. The Pokes still leading 1-0. Bottom 6 now after a leadoff single. Strimmel to Nash. He gets the roll over to Will Fox. He can take care of the rest. Steps on second. Fires the first for the double play. 8 1/3 innings of shutout baseball today for Ethan Strimmel. Then bottom 9, here comes Colin Kober. Oh boy, nasty slider to strike out Adams as the Pokes shut out Lamar 1-0, picking up a huge Southland Conference Series victory.
Yeah, we really played well today. I was really proud of the guys. Ethan Strimmel was outstanding, played really good defense behind him. The wind was certainly a factor. I was really glad how our guys played today. I think it's going to be a really good end of the year. Every weekend is tough. Everybody's got aces, and I think you got a chance to see 2 bids come out of the league this year.
Good to see McNeese picking up a big series win. That was a top 25 team in the country, so impressive week for them. They knocked off LSU, knocked off La Tech, and then obviously a big series win over Lamar, so that's good stuff.
Congratulations to them. Coming up, runners from across the globe are prepping for the 120th Boston Marathon. Plus, there's new plans to resume the search for the sunken El Faro's missing data recorder. And hear the latest in the battle over President Obama's immigration plan that could shield more than 4 million from deportation. Those stories and more in Nightcast Extra.
Your Tundra can haul loads of gravel.
It can, but I'm busy.
How about cinder blocks?
Yeah, no. Going riding.
Let's pull out stumps.
Rather go fishing.
Gravel is back.
Okay, enough with the gravel.
The 2016 Toyota Tundra. For those who believe play is the new word. Qualified buyers get 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,500 special edition cash on a new 2016 Special Edition Tundra for a total savings over $5,700. Toyota, let's go places.
Does your weed and feed work as hard as new Bayer Advanced 3-in-1 weed and feed for southern lawns? Let's find out. Both weed and feed, but only Bayer Advanced 3-in-1 weed and feed for southern lawns keeps on weeding to prevent new weeds and grasses, including crabgrass, for up to 6 months. The real bonus comes from Bayer Advanced. Bayer Advanced 3-in-1 weed and feed for southern lawns. Get more from the blue bag.
Be sure to join us for the First Edge Take a Swing Against Domestic Violence Golf Tournament. Monday, April 18th, 2016, at the Contraband Bayou Golf Course. Featuring local celebrity guests, with all proceeds benefiting Oasis Safe Haven.
Take a swing against domestic violence.
We're taking a swing against domestic violence. Don't miss the First Edge Take a Swing Against Domestic Violence Golf Tournament. Monday, April 18th, 2016.
Southwest Louisiana is open for business. From bankers to builders, the Chamber Southwest Business Expo has it all. Thursday, April 21st, join us in the Lake Charles Civic Center Exhibition Hall, where over 100 booths from our major industries and small business community will be on hand. This is the perfect opportunity to network with other business people, meet potential clients, or find a new job. Tickets are just $5 at the door, so come do business at the Business Expo April 21st.
If you're thinking about buying a new Toyota or Nissan, you may want to reconsider and buy a new Billy Navarre Honda Civic, which is the 2016 North American Car of the Year. Civic is also a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy, along with the Billy Navarre Honda CR-V and Billy Navarre Honda Pilot. And the Billy Navar Honda Accord is a great value too, and recently honored as a Car and Driver 10 Best for the 30th time. And right now, every Billy Navar Honda is on sale. For price, selection, and award-winning service, shop Billy Navar Honda.
Sponsored by Nissan of Lake Charles. At your service with news for Southwest Louisiana. This is 7 News Nightcast.
Welcome back to Nightcast Extra. Some very special runners came together tonight and fueled up on the eve of this year's Boston Marathon. Lots of carbs on the menu for these athletes who are part of Team 415, made up of Boston Marathon bombing survivors, and Team Semper Fi, which supports injured members of the armed forces. Both groups will be on the road tomorrow with the hope of sending a positive message that athletics can aid the healing process.
To be able to run beside the 415 group and say to them, like, hey, I'm here for you, but you're also here for me, it lets me know that that's how great of a nation that we live in.
The support from so many places was just amazing. I mean, from Florida to Washington, again, around the globe. People that don't have any idea who we are were so willing to just support us in any way possible.
Now, 32,000 runners are expected to compete in tomorrow's 120th Boston Marathon. Thousands of people, meanwhile, rallied in Brussels for a march against terror and hate today in the wake of last month's terrorist attacks in the city. Officials said around 6,500 people, including victims' families, took part in the march through the city. People of several religious faiths turned out for the peace march. Along the way, people stopped at the memorial for the attack victims. The march, originally scheduled to take place at the end of last month, was postponed amid continued security fears. Greek authorities are urging people in makeshift refugee camps to relocate to camps with better living conditions as concerns grow about the spread of disease. A flyer is circulating at this migrant camp on Greece's border with Macedonia. It says that diseases are spreading among the more than 10,000 people there. Written in 4 languages, it urges the migrants to relocate to one of several organized camps across Greece. But the migrants and refugees who have been stranded at the camp since several other European countries shut their borders to them are reluctant to leave.
This flyer is produced by the Hellenic Center for Disease Control and Prevention of the Ministry of Health of Greece, and it's referred to the risk that can occur in an area like this, which is not organized.
I'm here before 2 months, and the situation, I can't tell you, it's worse than the death. It's worse than the situation was in Syria. But I don't have anything now. Now I'm out of anything.
Now, in addition to this camp, another 10,000 migrants are staying in makeshift camps in mainland Greece. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court takes up one of the biggest cases of the term tomorrow, one that's been hotly contested in the presidential campaign. It's the battle over President Obama's immigration plan that could shield more than 4 million people from deportation. NBC's Pete Williams reports.
Rolando Martinez and Isabel Aguilar came to the U.S. a dozen years ago to escape violence in Honduras. He works in tree removal, she's in retail. 2 of their 3 children were born here. Though they're here illegally, they hope to stay and provide a better life for their children.
They have the opportunity growing in peace, growing with another vision, the world. They will have opportunity to whatever they want to do in their life.
Under a program announced a year and a half ago by President Obama, they could remain, along with more than 4 million other adults living here illegally whose children are American citizens.
You'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation. You can come out of the shadows and get right with the law.
With an estimated 11 million people here illegally, the administration says there's no way to deport them all. So it's concentrating on criminals and terrorists and telling others they can legally get work under the program. But it has never gone into effect, blocked in the lower courts, the result of a lawsuit filed by 26 mostly Republican-run states led by Texas. What's your next one? They say President Obama doesn't have the power to make such sweeping changes in the immigration rules on his own.
We don't want any president, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, to have the authority to change law. That is completely within the power of Congress.
Texas, for example, says it would cost the state millions to issue driver's licenses for those who would be eligible to stay and get jobs. But 16 other states are urging the justices to let the policy go into effect now while it's still working its way through the courts. They say it would help the economy.
Why not bring these folks out of the shadows, participate more fully in our workforce, bring additional revenues to our states, revenue we badly need here in Washington State and around the country, and keep those families together.
And that was Pete Williams reporting. Now, this is President Obama's last hope for enforcing this program while he's still in office. If the administration loses, it'll take at least another year while the legal battle plays out and his immigration plan remains on hold. Well, would you eat steak served up by a murderer? It's possible and even recommended at a popular restaurant inside an Italian prison. Inmates at this prison cook and serve food for diners at a fully functioning restaurant behind the prison walls. Now, most of these inmates are doing time for serious crimes, including murder. They work under the direction of a professional Italian chef. They recently served dinner for around 200 guests, but not just anyone can pop in for a meal here. Diners go through background checks and a series of security checkpoints once they're inside the prison. Now, the prisoners are under constant surveillance throughout the evening. The idea behind the restaurant is to give inmates work experience in hopes they can get a job once they finish serving their time, and it seems to be working. More than 20 prisoners have already gotten jobs in local restaurants. Well, the safety of school sports is a hot topic in Texas. The University Interscholastic League, or UIL, is the governing body for public school athletics in Texas. Members make the rules. Well, today they heard from their medical advisory committee at a meeting outside Austin. One topic, protecting baseball pitchers who may stay in the game too long.
We do have a pitching limitation rule already, but doing one specifically based on number of pitches would be a new concept. It's one that's we're a part of a national discussion in that area.
Another topic, how to better prevent head injuries in football and other contact sports, and how to better collect accurate athletic injury data. The National Transportation Safety Board announced plans to resume the search for the sunken El Faro's missing data recorder. The U.S. ship, if you'll remember, went missing near the Bahamas on October 1st while traveling from Jacksonville, Florida to Puerto Rico. Officials believe El Faro lost engine power and disappeared while trying to avoid Hurricane Joaquin. 33 people were on board and there were no survivors. El Faro's wreckage was found near the Bahamas in November, but the mast where the ship's data recorder was attached is still missing. Now, if found, the data recorder should contain the captain's final transmissions. The research vessel Atlantis is scheduled to depart Charleston, South Carolina tomorrow to search for the wreckage for 10 days. The death toll from yesterday's magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Ecuador has risen to 233. Today, rescuers are scouring destroyed buildings in search for survivors. Rescuers pulled a young girl from the rubble of a collapsed building. Firefighters worked for hours trying to locate the young girl. Now, she was found in what was left of a hotel and quickly taken away on a stretcher to an ambulance. The quake flattened buildings and buckled highways along hundreds of miles of the country's Pacific coast. The damage stretched to the capital and other major cities. The quake was the strongest to hit Ecuador since 1979. Thankfully, here's Zach back at home. No really major weather to report on.
Yeah, certainly nothing like that is for sure. But in regards to the weather, it's fairly quiet as well. I mean, all weekend long we dealt with a lot of clouds. It's been windy all weekend long, but the temperatures have actually been quite warm. It's also very muggy outside, so it doesn't feel that great. But I'm going to tell you about some storms that are not too far away that might sort of play havoc in your back-to-work forecast. All that coming up next.
And 15% cash back off MSRP on a great selection of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs during Chevy Bonus Tag Days at your Lake Charles area Chevy dealers. You can also save $9,000 on new Chevy Silverados. That's $9,000 in savings. And with no money down and no first payment, pay just $199 a month on new Chevy Malibus and $179 a month on new Chevy Cruises. Plus 0% financing can save you even more at your Lake Charles area Chevy dealers.
To capture something amazing, you have to be at the right place at the right time. With the 7 Storm Team Skycam network, we see everything, showing you the best and worst of Mother Nature, and traffic like you've never seen it before. So many views from so many places. You can see Southwest Louisiana never stops. On air, online, all from above. 7 Skycam Westlake is sponsored by Sasol North American Operations.
I knew after I was injured in a wreck
Someone needed to pay. Medical bills, time off work. I couldn't wait. I had to call 8.
Call 8? Who's that?
You know, Gordon McKernan. 888-8888.
888-8888? That's pretty simple.
I got Gordon, and he got it done. In my case, he got me $600,000.
Just call me. Get it done.
Call 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com.
Southwest Louisiana is open for business. From bankers to builders, the Chamber Southwest Business Expo has it all. Thursday, April 21st, join us in the Lake Charles Civic Center Exhibition Hall, where over 100 booths from our major industries and small business community will be on hand. This is the perfect opportunity to network with other business people, meet potential clients, or find a new job. Tickets are just $5 at the door, so come do business at the Business Expo April 21st. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to start your dragons? The Christa St. Patrick Foundation, Louisiana Mortgage Associates, Northwestern Mutual, and KPLC invite you to the Dragon Boat Races on Saturday, April 23rd at the Lake Charles Civic Center Seawall. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets to enjoy a day of fierce competition. Area teams will battle for top honors in 41-foot-long Hong Kong-style dragon boats, all to benefit the Children's Miracle Network. Make some waves at the Dragon Boat Races April 23rd.
From the 7-Storm Team, your first alert weather with meteorologist Zach Fradella.
Pleased to announce at this late night hour, there's really not much showing up on Storm Vision HD. There's false returns to the north. Again, all that green. There's a lot of pollen in the atmosphere now because we've had so much wind that's blowing the trees around. It's blowing the pollen around as well. So we need some rain to sort of wash out that pollen. But we don't need the rain that's going on just on the other side of Houston because this is very heavy rainfall and it's not moving. So we're going to be dealing with some serious flash flooding on the opposite side of Houston. That could very well start to scoot east. And that's the big question. How far east does it go? This is a high-resolution future radar. Perfect setup. It has the rain where it is now. What's the first thing to look for as meteorologists? As long as the model starts what's going on at this time, then we're at least getting good information in. Now, the question is whether we get good information out. And once we go into tomorrow morning, I really don't see any weather issues. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be windy, much like it was all weekend long. But you see this line developing back on the other side of Houston. Still in the same place it is right now. But once I put this into motion, say by mid-morning, this line starts to scoot east just a little bit. Still not into southwest Louisiana. We have a few little showers, but much like all weekend long, we've had those little showers, really have not amounted to much. But the question is, does that line develop, and how far east does it go before it puts on the brakes? Because, again, the atmosphere is just not ready to push all of that eastward because the big area low pressure across the four corners, it's not moving. So there's nothing to really push all of the rain eastward just yet, and really, the low pressure is going to fall apart before it can actually push it eastward. So let's get to another model, because look what happens first thing tomorrow morning. Same idea. Lots of clouds, really no rain. Rain all back across, say, southeast Texas. Once I put this into motion during the afternoon hours, has a totally different look. Remember, the other model had a line of storms. This one doesn't really show a line of storms. It shows one big storm sitting right over Galveston Bay with just scattered activity to the north. I actually believe the other model more. I think this is just totally wrong in this case, but I'm going to show it just to show it to you. And then as we go into tomorrow night, I think probably Monday, the second half of Monday, say during the later afternoon hours into the evening, into Tuesday, that is our best chance of getting one of those lines to push far enough east that it'll rain across southwest Louisiana. And it could rain heavy at times, but what's going to happen is all the dynamics are going to start to leave us once we get into the second half of Tuesday, and then we should see things go back to, say, normal. When I say normal, scattered rain activity for Wednesday and Thursday. Here's a look out of our Westlake sky cam. That wind, it's not dying down tonight. We actually have a wind advisory down along the coast, and we're worried about coastal flooding because thankfully we've had an easterly wind. That's okay. We don't want any wind persistent for this long a time because it builds up the waters. But as long as it's out of the easterly direction, we're not piling up too much water at the coast. If it turns southeast, which it will tomorrow, then we're really going to start to push that water into our coastline. But that's something we'll be watching. A coastal flood advisory is in effect down along the coast. But you see the wind gusts all across the board, 25 in Jennings. Cameron, 35, yes, that wind's going to continue throughout the overnight hours. 68 is all we're going to manage tonight. Last night we're 67, so we're not going to fall much. We're at about 70 right now. We're going to fall maybe 1 or 2 more degrees. The good news with the wind, we're not going to see any fog. That's the great news for your Monday morning drive. Another windy and cloudy day and storms. I'm going to say late afternoon into the evening hours. That's when I think our first round of rain might roll through here. And then it kind of sticks around in the first half of Tuesday, and then we're done. We're not talking about anything that's going to stay around here for too long. The heaviest rain is definitely going to fall across Texas. This whole storm system is going to produce flooding in Texas. We will get a small dose of it. The chance of that comes late Monday into Tuesday. A little bit of a break Wednesday, and then Thursday we get a front through here. That's going to bring a better chance of rain. But behind that front, we get sunshine back finally. But we also get the warmer temperatures, lower 80s. So, yeah, spring definitely next weekend, but it's like the last weekend of April. Mm-hmm. It's almost May. The 90s are not too far away.
Just got to get through the first couple days.
Yeah, and then we'll get better by next weekend.
All right, turning to sports. Mike, what do you have for us?
Well, we're talking more LSU football. Coming up, we'll recap LSU's spring game from Saturday, and we'll hear from some of the players and the coaches on closing out spring camp. And stay tuned. Sports is back after this.
Great things start in garages. Like the start of your perfect Honda collection with great deals during the Honda Dream Garage sales event.
Including the all-new Honda Civic. The best-selling car in its class now has a redesigned exterior.
Nice wheels. Care to upgrade?
Yeah, yes, I do. Whoa. Hurry in. You've got a garage to fill. The Honda Dream Garage sales event has great deals on the all-new Civic. Now at your Honda dealer.
Dentures and Dental Services of Karen Crowe Lafayette can give you a beautiful, confident smile. Custom full replacement dentures with warranty, $395 per set. Simple extractions, $49 per tooth with the purchase of dentures. Dentures and Dental Services of Karen Crowe Lafayette has experienced doctors in-house, so we can deliver dentures in just 1 day for 10% less, guaranteed. Call today to schedule your appointment. 337-520-0196. Dentures and Dental Services of Karen Crowe Lafayette. Love your smile.
I'm Yolanda, Director of Medifast Weight Control Center. Medifast now offers a monthly membership program. Join Medifast for only $49 a month plus the cost of your meals. Medifast makes weight loss easy with portion-controlled meals for a quick and effective weight loss with one-on-one counseling. Medifast can help you lose any amount of weight. Choose your goal today. Invest in yourself with a monthly program that guarantees your weight loss. Only $49 a month. Make the call today, 721-0633.
Christus St. Patrick Hospital is teaming up with Kohl's Cares to offer a healthy living fair for kids. On Saturday, April 23rd, in conjunction with the 4th annual Dragon Boat Race at the Lake Charles Civic Center, bring the whole family from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for fun activities that encourage good nutrition and healthy choices. That's Saturday, April 23rd. Join us for a healthy dose of family fun.
How many miles would you ride to make a Special Olympian's dream come true?
On Saturday, April 30th, come and join hundreds of cyclists at the Lake Charles Toyota Tour de Lafitte 26.
There are 5 routes, including a 10-miler. Perfect for the entire family.
Every rider gets a Tour Lafitte t-shirt and a water bottle.
After the ride, enjoy free food, drinks, and the big prize giveaway.
You could ride off with a brand new road bike.
Sign up by mail or at tourlafitte.com. Tour Lafitte 26, benefiting Special Olympics.
Ride for the dream.
Where local sports come first. 7 Sports with Mike Gaither.
We wrap up this evening talking LSU football. The Purple and Gold concluded spring camp with Saturday's spring game. Here's a recap of all of yesterday's highlights and action.
The big offensive names from recent years past were in attendance. Beckham, Landry, Hill. But the LSU spring game itself wasn't packed with dazzling highlights. The one long touchdown of the day was a pass thrown against a scout squad defensive back. Brandon Harris didn't pass for a touchdown and wasn't given a ton of reps. So what do we make of all this?
The coaches have had things they want to accomplish coming into this spring game, and I feel like we've accomplished those things. And, I've had a lot of work, and I've had a lot of work over the spring, and just because he pulls the plug, most importantly, I want to be ready for September.
He will go into his second summer as the guy that runs the summer workouts. So he's going to make improvements. He's going to make strides really all summer long, and then into what would be his second two-a-days as the starter. So he's going to finally go into a season having rehearsed this all once before, which is really going to be comfortable for him.
Defensively, new coordinator Dave Aranda was down on the field and directing his men with some fire. The Tigers continuing to prepare Aranda's new system for his old team, Wisconsin, who the Tigers opened their season with in less than 5 months.
You know, the flexibility of guys that can rush and drop and do those jobs, that's exciting because we have those guys. You know, how far do we go? That's the question. And I think it's summertime's a good time to work on it.
I feel like if we go out there and fall camp and master what Coach Aranda and the coaches are really installing for us, and when it hits when we go to Lambeau Field, I feel like we can really start the round running.
LSU now heads into the summer with a talented and veteran team capable of competing for something big. Work hard and stay away from trouble. That's the focus.
None of those 3 a.m. phone calls. I don't know who they would call at 3 a.m. I promise you, I'm not answering.
He's a funny guy.
Sure is.
He's always got something funny, interesting to say. His press conferences are always a trip to listen to.
All right. Well, when we return, a little boy thinks he gets to go on the baseball field to play a game, but what he really wins is the true surprise. Stay with us.
It's all about pride,
honor,
and service.
As a firefighter, you can become a member of a truly elite group of people. Firefighters protect the lives and property of their neighbors. If this kind of work sounds exciting, firefighting is for you.
I love the excitement and the work. It's great being a fireman.
I really enjoy being a firefighter and a paramedic and would recommend the profession to anyone.
Every community needs volunteers to survive, and your community needs you.
Southwest Louisiana is open for business. From bankers to builders, the Chamber Southwest Business Expo has it all. Thursday, April 21st, join us in the Lake Charles Civic Center Exhibition Hall, where over 100 booths from our major industries and small business community will be on hand. This is the perfect opportunity to network with other business people, meet potential clients, or find a new job. Tickets are just $5 at the door, so come do business at the Business Expo April 21st.
There are jobs, and then there are careers that are fulfilling. Careers that give you the opportunity to innovate, to be the technology leaders, while working with creative minds. The chance to share success with others and make an impact on your part of the world. At Raycom Media, we're looking now for people who want more than a job. People like you. Go to raycommedia.com and click on Careers.
We call it Southwest Louisiana. Sportsman's paradise, Cajun country. Well, the names may be up for debate, but whether you're from West Calcasieu, East Beauregard, or the Cameron Coast, everyone agrees. Our proud traditions make us a certain way. It's the way we embrace our faith, community, and our heritage. That way is what unites us. It's what we call home.
Looking for the perfect time to be on the water and reel in the big one? Tune in to 7 News Sunrise weekday mornings and catch the 7 Storm Teams Fishing Forecast. The 7 Storm Teams Fishing Forecast is sponsored by Henderson Implement and Marine. What are you doing this weekend? Wherever you are, we are. Download the 7 News Now app today.
Daddy, we don't say words like that.
It's a heartwarming reunion. A soldier returns home from deployment and surprises his family at a minor league baseball game in Richmond, Virginia. In Kuwait for his 4th deployment, Air Force Tech Sergeant Rob Champagne hadn't seen his family since October. The soldier arrived home 10 days early to surprise his family at a Flying Squirrels game. For the reveal, his 7-year-old son there was brought onto the field to open boxes. Little did the boy know his father, oh, there you see it, was waiting inside. When Sergeant Champagne pulled his family into his arms, the stadium there obviously erupted into applause. I love these stories.
See, that right there is the beauty of sports and what it does. It brings everyone together.
That's a good example.
Those
well said.
Never get old. They never get old.
Never get old. Look
but
at that.
How about the mascots? The Flying Squirrels.
Flying Squirrels.
Flying Squirrels.
Oh, look how happy they are. What a good surprise. How about some surprises in the weather?
It's going to be much of the same first thing tomorrow morning. It will not look like that background picture, I can tell you that. You're not going to see the sun in the morning, but so you don't need the sunglasses, but you will need your rain gear. Not going to really rain for the first half of the day, though. I think mainly in the, say, later afternoon hours into the evening. Your jacket, nah, you don't need that because we're going to be in right around 70 degrees when you wake up. Your hairspray, yes. Your hat, you will need that because the wind is going to be blowing. But that also eliminates the chances for fog, which is good news. Here's the wake-up forecast, and I didn't update the graphics. So we're going to skip right through that because it's not going to be in the low 60s tomorrow morning. There you go. 67 is what it's going to be tomorrow morning. 76 for that afternoon high. Very windy day again for Monday. But again, I think we're going to get at least a round of heavy rain once we get into Monday night into Tuesday. But nothing like they're seeing in Texas. Thankfully, we're going to miss out on the worst of this storm system that's bringing the flooding over there.
Like I said, ponytail day. All right, that does it for us. Sunrise is back at 4:30 a.m. As always, thanks for tuning in and have a great night.